Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you all had a fantastic week. It's been a brutal Friday, obviously. The jobs report came out today. We were up more than they expected. And because of that, the markets panicked. And because, they panicked because they are believing that the Fed is going to raise interest rates even more going forward. So that's obviously a bad sign, having more jobs in the current situation that we're in. So we'll take a look at the markets. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum. We'll also take a look at Bitcoin miners, see how they did today. It was pretty much a bloodbath in the miners today. We'll take a look at some news also. We got Digital, Greenidge, and Argo in the news today. We'll go over all the details there. And we also have Iris Energy, huge growth in September and into October as well. So we'll get into all that. This is obviously for the September production update, and that is it. So as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. Spam posts get reported, deleted. I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Helps me out tremendously. That's all I ask of you guys. I don't do any sponsored or anything like that videos, so this is the only way that I can actually earn a little bit. All right, let's take a look at the markets here. So Nasdaq was down 3.8%, Dow Jones was down 2.11%, the S&P was down 2.8%. Obviously, a bad day in the markets today. Taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 534 days away from its next halving event. We're counting down. We're hoping to get there faster than later. And the other bad news is total hash rate, if we're looking at the 7-day average, has increased tremendously here in the last couple of days. It is now at 257 million terahashes, which is obviously an all-time high, and we keep breaking it here almost every other day. So that's obviously not good news for the miners. But let's get into Bitcoin, see what's going on there on the charts. I want to go here. So looking at the charts here on Bitcoin, Bitcoin's at 19,579. We're in the new day, basically just transitioned over in the past, or actually, let me see here. We're actually going to be, where are we at here? It says 5 minutes on 1 hour daily. About an hour ago, it transitioned over into the new day. Obviously, during the day today, we were down 2.17% on the market, so it wasn't as bad as the Nasdaq was, but it's still pretty bad. We finished out at 19,533. We are now at 19,580. So good news is we did bounce off of our support line at 19,500 here, so that's a good sign there. I did say yesterday that it looked like it was turning a little bit bearish, and long and behold, it did turn bearish on us. Maybe a lot of people were thinking about the jobs report that was coming out today. On the 1 hour chart, we can see here that the RSI is now at 39. We did go below our oversold territory here. We got down to 24. And last time we were this low on the RSI wasn't for quite a while. So it's actually kind of a good sign in this respect. So we reached 24 here. We were not even close here back on September 27th. We were at 28, and we are higher in price. So that's at least a good sign there. So it could be turning out that we are starting to turn a little bit more bullish, but right now I'm looking at the peaks here. Last time we were here was right about here when we were higher in price, and we are lower in price right now. So we got a good sign there. Obviously, long term, it's looking like it's turning a little bit bullish. Short term, it's looking a little bit bearish, if that makes sense. So Ethereum is now at 1,333. And it has obviously bounced here off of its 30 mark on the RSI right now. Bounced twice, and price was lower actually on the second time, which wasn't a good sign. Right now the RSI is at 43. Last time we were here was back today around 1 o'clock or so in the morning. And price was obviously higher right now, so we're waiting for that to flip a little bit for us to where we have price going up, RSI going down, or at least going sideways for short-term bullish. We're still waiting on confirmation for the daily chart or longer-term bullish sign as well. Hopefully that happens within the next week or so. So we'll see. Now, looking at the miners here, and it was a bad day for them. Any was down 7.39% to 42.5 cents. Argo was down 23.75% to 30 cents. Obviously, the news that came out this morning wasn't good, and the market obviously reacted to it. We'll cover it here in a little bit. Digital was down 4.07% to $1.18. Bitfarms was down 8.11% to $1.02. I did dollar cost average in more into Bitfarms along with CleanSpark today. CleanSpark was down 7.08% to $3.02. Cores was down 13.07% to $1.33. DigiHost was down 5.64% to 73 cents. DMG was down 2.85% to 19 cents. Greenidge was down 5.43% to $1.74. We have obviously some Greenidge news as well. We'll cover that in a little bit. Hive was down 6% to $3.76. Hut 8 was down 7.32 to $1.90. Iris Energy was down 15.68% to $3.71. Luxfolio was down 4.91% to 6 cents. Marathon was down 14.43% to $11.21. They got beat up pretty good today. Mawson, for some reason, was the only exception here, possibly that went up 4.02% to 44 cents. Riot was down 8.31% to $6.57. Solana was down 3.85 to $1.75, and Stronghold was down 8.04% to $1.03. So there's the market in a nutshell. And let's take a look at our first story here, which is going to be, let's see here, we'll take a look at Argo. So I'll give you my thoughts on Argo while we read through this here really quick. So Bitcoin miner Argo blockchain raises $27 million to ease liquidity pressure. Shares plunged 15%. So London-based Bitcoin miner Argo blockchain has raised $27 million after agreeing to issue 87 million shares to a sole investor. Here's a quote from Peter Wall. Our profitability has been squeezed from both sides, from higher energy prices to lower Bitcoin price. That's resulted in cash crunch for Argo, Peter Wall said. So we'll take a look at the numbers that I have for them as far as from their Q2 report. Obviously, we've had 3 months here in Q3, which ended here in September. And we'll see what they report in a couple weeks on that reporting. But we'll just take a look at what they have right now. In addition to issuing 87 million shares, which equates to around 15% of the business. So obviously Bitcoin is down. What was it down completely? Let's take a look here. My memory isn't that great. Argo was down 23.75%. And they basically issued 87 million shares, equating to 15% of the business. So big drop there. Obviously, share dilution is not good. Investors obviously didn't like it. Argo announced the sale of also 3.4 thousand Antminer S19 Pros to a third party for a total of about, I think it was reported someplace at 6.8. So they were basically selling these at $2,000 per miner. The sale of mining equipment will cause a reduction in hash rate. Well, obviously it's going to cause a reduction. So we've seen this obviously also with Mawson selling to CleanSpark, a facility, and some miners. They were cash crunched as well. So this isn't something that's new for us, but we will take a look at the numbers that we have for Argo. Assuming all of the transactions close, we're confident we have the liquidity and balance sheet to get us through the next 12 months well concluded. Well, I would hope so. But here's the interesting part. So let's take a look at Argo here really quick. Argo currently has about, last report, this was from their August report, so we're still waiting on their September report to see how much they actually sold. I don't know if they sold anything in September. This is from August. August, they had 1,098 Bitcoin in HODL position. That was equal to value of today of about 21.6 million, roughly. They could have used that, at least my thinking is, instead of diluting shares of the investors, they could have sold the Bitcoin HODL that they do have to get them through, through this bear market that we're in, and possibly come out better on the other side of it instead of diluting shares. Their thinking is, I'm guessing, is we'll HODL this. If they haven't sold it in September, we'll find that out, like I said. But this is just my thinking right now. We'll HODL this, and if Bitcoin price goes up, obviously that's going to be, if Bitcoin goes, even if it goes up 50% from here, it would be obviously almost $30 million that they would have in BTC HODL. Obviously, if it goes up even higher than that, that's going to improve that number there. I think that is what their thinking is on that. Obviously, the investors didn't agree with it. That's why they sold off quite largely today, which was unfortunate, obviously. And the other thing that I would have said is, obviously, if you're in a cash crunch, management should take a pay cut for the time being, or not get paid for a while until you get things resolved instead of, diluting shares. But that's just my thinking on it. Let me know what you guys think. So that's obviously number one that I would have done, sold the HODL position and funded things that way. Now, they did mine 235 BTC in August, which was a pretty good increase from June or July and June in general. And overall, they've been growing pretty well here, except for in May and in June, they were kind of down a little bit, mostly in May. June, they came back up, and July was also a nice increase along with August. Those are the production numbers that we have for them. They have been obviously selling quite a bit here. So they've been selling about more than they have been mining. So you can see here back in June, they sold 637 Bitcoin. In July, 877. And in August, 432. So that was obviously a good sign that they sold less, but we now see that they obviously are cash strapped and need cash. So we'll see how much they sold in September when they released the information. But yeah, I'll be surprised if they actually sold all that and still got the dilution going on. That would be obviously interesting. So that would be almost 27 in this would be close to 50 some million in profits here within the last month, if that's the case. Now, looking at their actual numbers here, let's go down here. We'll take a look at what their assets are currently as of Q2. So assets they had, trade receivables was 99 million. So they still had receivables orders coming in. Digital assets was 28 million. Obviously, that's come down to 21 million. Cash, they had 9 million in that. So they had quite a bit of cash here. I wonder what happened with the trade receivables here. And then obviously long-term assets were property, equipment, which we're not counting into that. And then the current liabilities was only 64 million. Here it looks like loans and borrowings was 44 million, trade payables 17 million, and they had, what did they have here? 136 million. So I'm surprised that they're cash strapped. I'd like to know more details on what's going on there a little bit, as far as why they had to dilute shares in order to get more cash and sell miners. That's kind of what we're looking at here. I mean, things didn't look too bad here in Q2. So let me know what you guys think of it. Obviously, the investors didn't think it was a good idea. Stock obviously plummeted from that, down 23% today. And I think they could have gone and bought it a different way, possibly. But we'll see when they report the September numbers. All right, so that's Argo. That's my take on that. Let me know what you guys think. Next is BitDigital. So BitDigital just can't catch a break, it seems like. So BitDigital today announced update related to hosting partners operations. And here's what we got. So BitDigital received a notice dated October 4th from the city of Niagara Falls, New York. The notice pertained to Niagara Falls, New York facility that is owned and operated by one of the company's hosting partners, BlockFusion. The notice orders the cease and desist from any cryptocurrency mining or related operations at the facility until such time as BlockFusion complies with Section 1303.2.8 of City of Niagara Falls zoning ordinance, in addition to all other city ordinances and codes. I didn't have a chance to take a look at what that actually entails, but power had been restored at the facility in September following the previously announced explosion and fire in May of 2022. So they've finally gotten that back up in September, and now this happens. And then BlockFusion has advised the company that the ordinance came into practical effect on October 1st, following the expiration of a related moratorium on September 30th, 2022. BlockFusion has further advised that it is preparing applications for new permits based on the ordinance's new standards, and that the permits may take several months to process. So I think they had about 17% in BlockFusion's. I think they provided it here someplace. Yep. So here it is. Approximately 17% of the company's total active mining fleet is currently located at the BlockFusion facility in Niagara Falls. So as of October 6th, the company had a total of 13,900 mining units actively hashing. So if that's 17% of that, that's almost, rough number would be, almost 2,000 miners or so like that. So that'd be 2,000 miners that would be what? 200 exahash, 200 petahash, sorry. That would be roughly 200 petahash if they were the 100 terahash miners. So that's obviously going to hurt them here in the short term. And obviously they do have the option, I think, because they were in breach of their contract here. Obviously, where is it here? BlockFusion was supposed to have everything in place, all licenses, registrations, and authorization and approvals required by any governmental agency, regulatory authority, or other party necessary for it to operate its business and engage in the business of relating to its provision of the services. So basically, they have a way out if they want out of that deal. And we'll see if they take the way out or if they're just going to hold tight until BlockFusion gets their act together here. So this obviously wasn't good news for BitDigital as well. They have been doing pretty well here lately. When we look at it, BitDigital, they have been growing their hash rate obviously quite nicely since July, August, and obviously we're waiting for September. September, I was guessing it was going to be a little bit higher since they had 17,000 miners operating. I was yeah, I mean, they were 145 in August, probably higher than that in September, but that's obviously going to hurt them a little bit here. It's going to knock them down about 300 petahash or 200 petahash roughly, but we'll have to see. So not good news for them. Next, Greenidge. Greenidge Generation announces leadership transition board changes and selected preliminary financial and operating results for the third quarter of 2022. So here's what's happening. Jeffrey Kurt to resign from his role as CEO and director effective basically today. David Anderson appointed as CEO and director effective October 8th. Scott McKenzie appointed as chief strategy officer effective tomorrow basically as well. And then here are their third quarter highlights. So expected revenue of approximately 29 million. I have them at like 19, 20 million roughly, but that's only accounting for their Bitcoin production. This does not account for any generation of electricity that they might make money on. So that's pretty in line with what we're having. And then obviously mining capacity of approximately 2.4 exahash from approximately 24,500 miners in service as of September 30th. I have them at a little bit lower, I think. Or no, 2.4 is what I have them at. Let's take a look at Greenidge here really quick. Greenidge is at 2.4 exahash. So they pretty much stayed the same in August as in September. Nothing got installed here during that month here. So that's not good news also. Approximately 39 million in cash and fair value of cryptocurrency holdings as of September. So looks like they got some cash still. And the part that I wanted to look at here was down here. So I wanted to find out more about David Anderson. So David Anderson is a well-respected business leader with a demonstrated track record of business growth and value generation. Wanted to find out where he actually came from, what business sector. And since January 2020, Mr. Anderson has served as the president and chief executive officer of Millar Western Forest Products, a privately held integrated forest products company based in Alberta, Canada. Okay. This is where my kind of eyebrows kind of go up a little bit and go, why would you get somebody from a integrated forest products company into a Bitcoin mining and energy production facility? That just doesn't make any sense to me. I would think that they would hire somebody that has more experience in the tech sector, maybe somebody that obviously has experience with electrical generation, things covered under that area, electricity, anything like that. But somebody from the forest where they make paper is a kind of a strange choice to me, at least in this instance. I could be proven wrong. Hopefully he does well, but just based on his prior experience, maybe he has some other experience, but he's been with Millar Western in various roles for 14 years. So don't know how much experience he has with IT, Bitcoin, and all that crypto space. So we'll just have to find out from that as time goes on. And then Scott McKenzie is an experienced leader with extensive mergers and acquisitions, business development, and strategic planning experience. Mr. McKenzie has served as Vice President Corporate Development for Millar Western also since 2019. So these two guys here are buddies, and they're probably buddies of somebody else at Greenidge Generation, and that's how they got the gig. Just speculating here. Don't know the facts on it. But at least Mr. McKenzie does have a Bachelor of Engineering from Lakehead University and a Master's of Business Administration with focus in finance and international business from the University of Alberta. So he does have at least engineering experience. This guy up here has a Bachelor of Science in Forestry. So this guy is a full-blown forestry expert, I guess you could say, and a Master's of Administration from the University of Alberta as well. In 2016, has been a CFA charter holder since 2016. So I'm a little bit more skeptical. Is that the right word? I can't think of the word right now. Skeptical. I'm a little bit more skeptical of Mr. David Anderson here as far as being chosen for this role, being that he's a forestry expert. A little bit less about Scott McKenzie. He does have some engineering background, so that's obviously good with Bitcoin mining and things like that. So he might be more in tune with this kind of thing than Mr. Anderson here. But that is it also down here. So Mr. Anderson is getting exercisable for 1,852,812 shares of Greenidge's Class A common stocks. And Mr. McKenzie is getting 1,224,030 shares. These are obviously going to vest over time. But obviously at today's numbers, that's almost like $3 million for Mr. Anderson and about almost $2 million for Mr. McKenzie here, depending on obviously where the Bitcoin price goes and when these actually expire or when they're good to redeem. So that's just a quick update on Greenidge. Obviously a little shakeup going on there. They haven't been doing too bad lately. They have been going up obviously in production here. So surprised to see a shakeup going on right now in that space. Maybe there's something going on with the current CEO that he just needed to take off. All right, so that's Greenidge. Let's take a look at finally Iris Energy and their monthly update here. So this is their September update, and here's what we have down here. So average operating hash rate has been 2.7 exahash for the month of September. It was 2.4, I believe, in August, so that's a nice increase there. Bitcoin mine was 325, which is also an increase from August, and electricity cost per Bitcoin is $8,691, I believe. So that's not too bad. That's actually pretty well in line with some of the other ones, like Bitfarms, I think, is around there. Not sure where CleanSpark is. I think Hive was a little bit lower than that, or right around there as well. So that's pretty much in line with the rest of them. Here's the update. So company's third operating site, Prince George 50 megawatt, was energized and on schedule, increasing total company operating capacity by more than 60% to exceed 3.7 exahash. This actually happened towards the end of September, I think like September 28th. I think they provided down here someplace. So that's why they're using the average hash rate here of 2.7, because they were only mining for a couple of days with 3.7 exahash. So they're using the average hash rate for the month. So where they started, where they ended up, that's kind of what they're getting as the average. Mackenzie expansion from 50 to 80 megawatts remains on track to be energized by the end of Q4 of 2022. So that's good. Increasing expected near-term company operating capacity to 4.7. So about another 1 exahash in growth there within the next 3 months. So that's actually really good. And then initial 40 megawatt planned at Childress to reach 6 exahash. So that's excellent there. And then reported record full year 2022 results, which we've covered in the past. So operations, obviously average hash rate of 2.7 exahash, 24% increase over August, which was great. Monthly operating revenue of 6.2 million, which was obviously down 6% versus August. Obviously Bitcoin price has come down a little bit, and the network difficulty increased as well. 325 Bitcoins mined, that's an increase of 8% versus August. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Corporate update, here we go. On September 23rd, the company entered into agreement with B. Riley Principal Capital, pursuant to which the company has option but not the obligation to sell up to $1 million of ordinary shares to B. Riley over the next 2 years. Right, so this is going to help them fund their operations and possibly dilute shares if they go this route. The company continues to monitor the funding markets and advance prospective capital opportunities. In parallel, the company is also assessing various growth initiatives such as ongoing organic expansion as well as potential mergers and acquisitions. So that is good there as well. And then they go into some updates here. I didn't find anything else, I don't think, down here that was terribly interesting. You guys can read over this at your own leisure when you want to. But I just wanted to point out the highlights here from what we got. All right, so now let's take a look at Iris Energy here. Here's what we got for them. They are, shares outstanding is 54, almost 55 million. Current stock price is $3.71. They've been doing pretty good here as far as stock performance has been concerned. Lately, market cap is 203 million. And let's see here, 52-week high has been $28, 52-week low is $2.89. So we're almost $1.90, I would say, somewhere around there from off the 52-week lows. HODL, they don't HODL anything. They sell pretty much everything that they mine. Here is what we have on them for their production here. So 325 Bitcoins in September, 301 in August. Had a huge increase, obviously, from July to August, which was nice. And they have been growing pretty well here throughout the year. So they started at 126 in January, 110 in February, 121 in March. April was 137, May was 151, June was a little down month here of 148, July 154, a little bit of an increase, and then obviously a huge double increase here almost in August, and then September nice increases as well. And their efficiency is down a little bit to 0.1188 compared to 0.1365 for the month of August. So that obviously knocked them down a little bit here. And they don't sell anything, so we're going to leave it at that. Income or revenue-wise, we're looking at about 6.4 million based on the Bitcoin average price here in September. We'll see how close we are to that. And we're looking at about 16 million, 16.2 million for the quarter so far for them, if everything holds the way it is. Now, in September, they added some hash rate to it. They added another, looks like 531 petahash, it looks like we've added to them, which are these 90 terahash miners here, 5,903 of those. So those were added. Those were mining for about 14 and a half days. The rest of the miners were mining for all 30 days, which was good. And then we're adding, obviously, more miners here to them in October to get them to the 3.7 exahash. And that includes, obviously, what is that? 8,000, right? Wow. Yeah, so that's 8,518 miners, 5,160 miners combined. No, 1,904 miners and the 8,518 miners to get them to the extra 1 exahash here in mining. And then it looks like if Bitcoin just stays where it's at, difficulty stays where it's at, they're looking to make about 10 million here in October if everything stays the same. Obviously, hopefully Bitcoin price goes up. I'm pretty sure difficulty is going to go up here. I don't think too many miners are going to be selling unless we get a huge adjustment in difficulty. But we'll see. But it's obviously going to be a nice increase from the September revenue of 6.4 to 10 million. That is going to be nice growth for them going forward. Along with, obviously, November, December, if they're going to be in December by the end of, what did they say, 4.7 exahash, I think. So that's going to be another growth there. So December should be a pretty good month for them as well. All right. So institutions now, take a look at those. Institutions have been increasing also. So there are 41 institutions now invested in them with 12.9 million shares. That is a huge increase, obviously, here from September numbers, which was 8.6 million. They did increase also, obviously, percentage owned is 23 million. And I think it's because they have been doing such a great job of execution. Getting the miners installed, energizing them, building out as needed. And we do have also one added strong buy rating. Now it's 3 compared to 2 last month. We still have 3 buy ratings, and we do have 2 hold ratings now instead of 1. And price target is $14 for the high, $7.54 for the average, and $4.30 for the low. And let's take a look at where I have them at. So the high is $14, the low is $4. $14 is the high. I have them at right around there. So if we're looking at their last 3 quarters plus this current quarter, we're looking at about 68 million in revenue. That with the PE of 20, 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at $12.48. The highs that they have them is 14, 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at $18.72. So it's kind of in line with what the analysts are looking for right now, but it's kind of where I have them at currently. So they are at $3.71. Do I think they're undervalued? Heck yeah, they are well undervalued here. One of my plans is obviously to dollar cost average into the miners that I currently do own, which include Bitfarms and CleanSpark. I want to get those to within 10% being down, but things have been dropping in price, so I've been just buying as best I can and trying to keep up with it. Otherwise, I'd be down close to 80%. So I'm actually down 39% on one, 29% on the other one. So I've been dollar cost averaging as best I can. Once I get close to at least the 10% mark on those two, one of the ones that I am looking to invest in is also Iris Energy. So as long as they continue to do well here and the stock doesn't run away from me, I will probably end up buying Iris Energy as well. Not financial advice, do your own research as always, but this is kind of what I'm thinking about doing. Now, going back to their performance, obviously they've been doing a fantastic job the last couple of months, growing quite nicely here. The only thing is obviously they have stated in the past that they want to get to 15 exahash. Obviously that has been put on pause. I'm hoping that if things start picking up with Bitcoin, they can get these miners here either reordered or they can get them maybe updated to the XPs, which are the 140 terahash miners, which will also help them out even more. So that's kind of the thinking on that one. So otherwise, fantastic month, fantastic performance by the team at Iris Energy. We want to see that continue on. And that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out. Spreadsheet, as always, going to be available to my Patreon members. It's over there for them in 3 formats, PDF, Excel, and Apple numbers. And thank you to everyone there for their support. And that's it. That's all I got. Love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll see what happens next week. That's it.